Gear has brought you some big motoring stories in the past, but they don't come any bigger than this. This is the longest load ever to travel on British roads. It weighs over 500 tons. There are 2 and sometimes 3 tractors and 222 wheels, and that doesn't include the spares. It's a gas turbine bound for Didcot Power Station, and it's one of 20 similar loads that's going to be clogging up the roads between Avonmouth and Didcot between now and next June. But with something this big, you can't just plonk it on the back of a transit. Instead, the Berlin-built turbine is carried on 2 bogies designed to spread weight across the highway. These can be hydraulically raised and lowered to adjust to the camber of the road or to lift the huge frame clear of obstacles. And it's so big, it takes at least 4 people to drive it.
Driver for each tractor, and then a steersman for each of the 2 bogies, and a third person who acts as a lookout and a liaison person with the police.
Now, I don't like to mention it, but what would happen if you had a breakdown?
Normally it's tyre trouble, and because of the numbers of wheels that we have, the pressures are low, so we haven't, and up to date, fortunately, we haven't had a lot of tyre trouble. If it's something else, then we're carrying spares with us to do it on the road. Fortunately, it's not happened yet.
So you don't just ring up the AA or the RAC or National Breakdown?
We try to be as self-contained as possible.
But what's it like to drive something as big as a row of houses? Well, the answer is surprisingly easy, as I found out after I clambered into the cab of one of the 2 giant German-built Thorn tractor units. There's 6-wheel drive, 2 automatic gearboxes, and no shortage of power.
No, just ease up, will you? Let us pull it. All right?
I'm not pushing, Mick. You've got it all mount.
Okay.
He's not pushing me.
No, you got the whole lot.
Pulling it.
You got the whole lot.
Don't tell him to get pushing.
No, it's easy if he doesn't push because it's
No,
on
a
the
bit
flat.
more speed. Nice light steering, isn't it? The old power assisted.
Yeah.
How many miles to the gallon will this do when it's going on at the motorway?
About 1 to 1.
1 mile to the gallon. Well, you've got big tanks. Now, you sure you don't want me to take it up the M4?
Can do if you want, yeah.
Each unit has a 19.5-litre V12, pushing out a massive 500 horsepower, so there's plenty of torque. But not much speed, which is why 2/3 of the journey takes place at night. The trip is split into 3 to ease congestion, leaving Avonmouth docks at 8 o'clock in the evening and arriving at Lee Delamere services on the M4 at midnight. But even in the middle of the night, there's still a queue of traffic in its wake. But on the Wiltshire section of the M4, safety dictates that the load must travel by day, avoiding the rush hour wherever possible. 3 police forces have been planning this epic journey for over a year, and it falls to Wiltshire Police to coordinate the most complex manoeuvre of all. The turbines were built with the weight restrictions of our roads in mind, though that doesn't mean it's all plain sailing. Twice along the route, everything comes to a complete standstill as the mammoth load crosses bridges. Here, weight is so critical because of the construction of the bridges that it has to take a special line to cross safely. Too far to the left and the whole caboodle could finish up in the River Avon. In fact, they're testing the bridge for stress now as the load approaches. Following behind the giant load is a flotilla of smaller vehicles. Their job is to form a rolling roadblock behind the rear tractor to stop anything running into it, as well as filtering traffic into the outside lane. The average speed of this Leviathan is 10 miles an hour, though on hills this can drop to as low as 2 or 3, even with a 3rd tractor unit hooked up to give a total of 1,500 horsepower. There are 16 more of these huge loads to be moved between now and next June, so beware. For this trip, there was a brief stop at Membury, then on to Didcot, on into the night.